So we're going to start with the poet whose work I loved so much that, dear reader, I married him. Dónall Dempsey is a Surrey poet by adoption and by marriage, but like Kyle, whom we'll hear from later, he's kept his roots intact. In Dónall Dempsey's case, the roots are Irish. Coming to London from a burgeoning poetry career in Ireland in the 1980s, Dónall has in recent years become a very prolific writer who writes and posts a new poem on the web every single day. His daily posts are followed avidly by his many internet friends and real-life friends and fans. He's also published internationally in print and online. 2 collections of his poems are on sale tonight, The Smell of Purple and Being Dragged Across the Carpet by the Cat. He's very good at titles. As host of the Thousand Monkeys, our performance group in Guildford, Dónall promotes and encourages poets of all ages, both sexes. His own poems defy categorization. They range in tone from narrative to elegiac to surreal to comic. But I'll say no more. I'll let Dónall speak for himself.
Way back in 1986, when I first washed up in the shores of London's consciousness, one of the first poetry palaces I entered was the Torriano meeting house. This was in the days of ye goodly King John Retty and personages such as Dinah Livingstone. So it's nice to come back full circle to where I began. When I was little, I lived under the illusion that I had 3 mothers. As you can see, the facts of life were beyond me. And I thought that anybody who loved you to such a degree and so much must be a mammy. And so I thought it was biologically possible. I had my own lovely mother, Rita Dempsey. I had Mrs. Sweeney up the road, and I had my Auntie Mary down in Cork. And the love of those women still flow through my veins and make me the person I am today. This is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. And even though I had my own, I had her on loan. It was like having a second mammy. And even when she was mad with us, she just couldn't be mad with us. Go on, she'd grin, go on. You'd wear the heart out of a stone. And if you fell, and you were crying, heart and knee badly grazed, or badly bitten by a bee, she would hug you up with all of herself. Ah, come here to me, you poor little dote. Fill you up with so much love, it would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney was my best friend ever. Way back in the way back then. Still is. Nothing's changed. Except that us young fellas have become old fellas who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I could almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. Thank you. I was teaching year 7. And as usual, when you're a teacher, you come in and they might not have any work for you, and I was trying to establish from the kids, what did you do last? And of course they don't want to tell you because the class won't start until then. And one telltale tit suddenly put up his hands and said, so, we were doing the spinach armada. And I said, right, okay, the spinach armada. Anything else? And he said, and of cleavage, sir. And I thought, right, okay. And I thought, this is a good day. And then I went into a year 8. And year 8, kids tried to discombobulate you. So everybody spoke in a pirate voice. And they were waiting for my reaction to this, everybody. I thought, one kid, another kid, my God, everybody's speaking about it. So all I did was give the whole lesson in a pirate voice. So I said, the pieces of 8 on the good ship Hypotenus is equal to the sum of the pieces of 8 on the other 2 ships. And they thought, all right, he's better. So this is, and I was just approaching 60. And one of the kids was reading Ian Milne's Now We Is 6. So this is called Now We Is 60. And if a year 8 child inquires how old I be just 60. My God, he gasps, You're very active for 60. 60 for him is a distant star, far, far from here in a different galaxy. Yea, a different dimension. I smile my 60-year-old smile, perfected by now. I am starlight that will only reach him when he himself is 60, if he ever remembers what he has long ago forgotten. Thank you. One of the delights of my childhood, and still is now, is my Uncle Michael. Uncle Michael made me the poet I was, because his way of viewing the world, his sayings, Uncle Michael being Uncle Michael, was just a gorgeous man altogether. So this is called, I was very glad to read this at the Shakespeare Centre in Stratford and bring my Uncle Michael up to Shakespeare. It's called, A thin slice of ham in the hand is better than a fat pig in a dream. There you go. Never, I'm talking to you now, Lisa, never bolt your door with a boiled carrot. As Uncle Michael would say with a wink, tongue in cheek. It didn't make any sense, as our door was always open. We never knew it locked. And I liked my carrots raw and stolen, plucked from my father's little plot. He perplexed by small human rabbits, his mud-caked boots standing amazed as we hid holding our breaths amongst the flowering curse pinks. But poets and pigs are only appreciated after their death, as they say, whoever they are. But as I always say, don't be after breaking your shins on a stool that isn't there. Thank you. Even now, I am not a practical person, and way back when I was 12 or something like that, I was not a practical person. All the other boys learned to drive cars, help Dad, be handymen. I read books. So this is called So Cricket Hem Nature in Her Courageous. Never did help my dad enough. Always head stuck in a book. Dónall, son, he'd call. Can you hold this while I saw? Ah, da, I'd wail. Me lost in Chaucer and his tale. And so the saw saws. But all I see is, yo, the miller was a chap of 16 stone, a great stout fellow, big and broad and bone. The saw cuts through the afternoon, pauses then, Chaucer's on again. He did well out of it, for he could go and win the ram at any wrestling show. Say what? Oh, don't get me wrong. I adore the aesthetic beauty of sawdust floating in a universe of its own, suspended in sunlight and shadow. The smell of pine kidnapping my mind. The green dance of the bubble in a spirit level. Didn't have time for all that hammering and sawing. I was a boy on a mission, ever since our teachers sighing, oh, I don't know why I teach you scruff Chaucer. You'll never read the book. But by the weekend, furious at the rebuff, I had. My poor old dad only getting begrudging help. When that April, the words falling like gentle rain upon my mind, with a sure sota, the drought of March, words, words, oh sweet words, had pierced to the rota. My mind bad at every vine in switch liqueur, the bubble in the spirit level, poised perfectly, perfectly poised, of which for two engendered is the floor. Thank you. A couple of years ago, we went to New Delhi in India and we launched The Smell of Purple. And I had a little girl and she could do things like that. So she came in to me one day and said, I can smell yellow. And I thought, oh, wow, what does yellow smell like? So this is called The Smell of Purple. She says she can smell yellow. She says she can smell blue, despite not being able to spell either colour. Yellow smells the same as blue, like a wet kitty drying by the fire. Red smells like mummy when she kisses. Her kisses smell different when she kisses you. Then she smells like flames with little orange tips. Purple is my favourite smell. It smells just like a magic spell. I kiss her goodnight like violet, only lighter, with little flecks of purple scattered here and there. Silly would awake us, many people probably know this by when you have a little girl, we'd be fast asleep in the morning, we'd be just a mountain of flesh and limbs, and Tilly would bomb into the bed and land on all parts of her anatomy. It wasn't nice. We were at a cocktail party, darling, and we were very hungover, and Tilly was still going to wake us up at the same time. Chris Stoll said, during your thing, can I wear the hat halfway through? So she gets to wear, oh, why? But she, I can never refuse her anything. So this is called I Feel Pretty. Oh, so pretty. I wake, covered in glorious glitter, smelling strongly of PVA glue sticking to my cheek, very hung over and covered in blue, orange, yellow, red feathers. A bubble recently blown perched upon my nose. I still half comatose. Tiny bubbles travel amongst my curls, as through a bigger bubble brightly, nestling neatly over my right eye. I observe my tiny daughter purse her lips and kiss more bubbles into being. Tilly! I force my lips, still frozen in sleep, to somehow speak. What do you do? See, even my syntax and sentence structuring is short. She smiles sweetly. I'm pitying you. When my brother was small, I used to teach him the rhyme, how many miles to Babylon will I get back again, and all that sort of stuff. So anytime we were stuck in a traffic jam, he'd immediately, years later, he'd immediately go, how many miles to Babylon will we get out? So this is called How Many Miles. It's a memory of Brian. I tried to get back to the you before you died. You flicker in the candlelight. I am trying to not let the forgetting happen to you, but you begin to fade and falter. You tell me to let you go, that it will be easier for me. But I would rather own the pain of this love, hold you all the tighter, smuggle you in a dream across death's border. You are beyond Babylon, the many miles to the childhood rhyme I told you. Can I get there by candlelight? I ask the dark. There and back again, the emptiness echoes. Each night I fetch your ghost, feeding it my pain to keep you alive again, only to have to return you when morning brings a new day you can never know. Thank you. And I'll finish with this. This is, I've become a right-o card. You can post me and everything like that. This year on National Poetry Day, the BBC commissioned poets from different counties, respective counties, to write a poem celebrating some feature of their county that is so much them, and it had to be a thing, and we had to animate the thing, and we had to give it a personality and a voice. So I picked the Guildford Guildhall clock, because it's been there since 1683, hangs over, and is still ticking out time. I walk underneath to go to Sainsbury's, and I salute him. I used to call him Old General Tick-Tocker. So I had to pick this one. So I imagined him, there was a guy in our gym, and he used to say, "Dónall, old boy, so nice to please you, pleased to see you." So I thought, I'll give him his voice. So, and when we were young, this played right into my consciousness, because when I was small, we used to have to write essays, and it used to be called, "A Day in the Life of a Farding." I was born and lost on the first day I was born. I fell through a hole in a small boy's pocket. He cried so when he lost me. I was stuck to chewing gum. So I was used to writing those sort of things when I was 8 or 9. So this is this. So I'm the Guildford Guildhall clock, I am. It goes like this. Okay, you seconds, fall in minutes and 4 hours. Come on. We have a poem to do. Quick. Tick. Wait for it. Tock, tickety tock. One after the other, light brown skies. Halt! At ease. Okay. I'm the Guildford Guildhall clock, I am. Oh, I've been knocking out time now since, let's see, 1683. Minutes and decades flow through me. the everlasting skies above me. I'm iconic, I am, dressed in my black and gold. I, if I may be so bold, am Guildford, the pride of Surrey. I watch the high street run down to that young whippersnapper of a statue, the scholar or whatever. People congregate about to chat, eat sandwiches, listen to a busk opera. Ha! Only in Guildford, but it's me they look up to. And is it time for tea? Ha! Why, so it is. Citizens clatter over the cobbles. I'm the Guildford Guildhall clock, I am. Tip-top, tick-tock, tick-tock, tip-top, tip-top. Thank you.